stopped it. Okay, so that's something that I don't control.
Okay, so we're going to start now. Hello, everyone, and welcome to SCORE Fairfield County's live webinar on how to turn your clients or patients into your Salesforce with retargeting ads. I'm Tim Ryan, the webinar coordinator and a business mentor here at SCORE Fairfield County, and I'll be your host. Our presenter today is Ed Winslow. More on Ed in just a minute. First, some brief information on SCORE. There's over 320 offices and 11,000 volunteers nationwide, and we're part of the SBA. SCORE Fairfield County has over 130 volunteers with a wide range of industry, process, and subject matter expertise. We offer 3 primary value-added services to small business owners. First, free one-on-one counseling, either face-to-face via Zoom these days, telephone, or email, which can be accessed via the Request Mentor link on our website. Number 2, we offer educational workshops and webinars, usually over 150 per year. And number 3, we have extensive resources on our website, including a network of subject matter experts and templates that you can use to build your business plan. SCORE puts on a lot of webinars each month. Look for future events on our webinar calendar at fairfieldcounty.score.org. Some useful information about today's event. If you have a question, please use the chat window at any time during the presentation. It is located at the lower part of your screen. Our webinar will end at 1 p.m. to respect your time. The session is being recorded, and the link to the recording will be available at fairfieldcounty.score.org within the next couple of days. Now, our speaker. Ed Winslow is the founder and the owner of Niche Quest Media, a digital marketing agency with clients nationwide. Ed is also the creator of 10xdisplayads.com, providing retargeting strategies for small to large companies. Ed lives in Wilton, Connecticut. Welcome, Ed. It's all yours.
All right. Thanks, Tim. Can you hear me okay?
You sound great.
Okay, super. All right. Thanks, everybody, for taking the time during your busy schedule to pop in here. And so as Tim said, I'm going to, today's webinar is going to be about retargeting advertising. And I'm going to go through what is retargeting and how it will help you get more customers. One of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to start out with my story, my retargeting story, and then I'm going to show you sample ads. I'm going to show you sample placement, and I'm going to tell you a little bit about how these ads work. And then I'm going to also show you what I think is really, really awesome is a specific landing page, which could be a website or a landing page, because the ads are only as good as where you send that traffic. And so I'm going to show you a really, really awesome website that is a formula that can be replicated for any business. So anyway, starting out, the number one problem with all websites is 96% of all website visitors will land on your page and they'll leave and they'll never contact you. With retargeting ads, you can track those people and keep in touch with them after they've left your website until they are ready to buy. And what the way retargeting works, digital retargeting, and you can do, I'm going to be talking about display ads. These are the ads that you see on like news sites and sports sites, or it could be a weather site, or it could be an app. There's also Facebook retargeting. I'm not going to get into Facebook retargeting, but it's the same concept. And what you do is you put a pixel, what's called a pixel, which is a code, and you can put it in the back end of your website. And when somebody lands on that page, it triggers the pixel, and then you can stay and you can follow them wherever they go. Okay, so, and I'll explain. But first, I want to tell you, my retargeting story. And it started many years ago when I was a real estate broker. I was a real estate broker in New York City. And I started out with CBRE, which is a big commercial firm. And I specialized in selling buildings on the Upper East Side of Manhattan. And the business formula that they taught us, when, the first day I went in, out of college, I sat down with the manager of the office and he said, we have a business formula that has made this company the largest commercial real estate brokerage firm in the world. And he said, if you follow the formula that we teach you, you will succeed. If you deviate, you will fail. And he said, can you follow our plan? So I'm like, what am I going to say? Yes, I'm going to follow your plan. So the basic formula was you target a market. It doesn't matter where you are. You could be in the suburbs, you could be in a city, but it was find a market with 350 potential clients. And they, typically they're, like building owners. So you want to handle leasing or you want to handle sales for clients. And so I ended up choosing, I was in New York City and I chose the Upper East Side of Manhattan, and I worked from 66th Street to 86th Street, Fifth Avenue to Lexington Avenue. And the plan was every day to get 8 people in that territory on the phone. Even if they hung up the phone on you, that counted as a contact. So you contact 8 people every single day, which means that about every 2 months you're going through and calling your territory of 350 people over and over and over. That's the basic formula. Followed up with a monthly mailer or newsletter or something like that. So what you're doing is you're just going in and you're just hammering that market over and over and over. So here's a picture of a building here. This is a building that I sold. It was at 22 East 67th Street. Beautiful, amazing townhouse that was owned by this very wealthy family. I never knew who they were, but I called them every single month, or let's say every 2 months. And I never got anybody on the phone but the receptionist. I didn't know who these people were. I didn't know what they did in this building. But I sent them like a newsletter or something in the mail every single month about a building that we were hired to sell or something we just sold. But it was the same information. It was targeting that particular market, 66th Street to 86 Fifth to Lex. So what happened was one day I got a call 7 years later. And I got a call from the receptionist, and the receptionist said, "Hey, the guys want to see you. Can you come up to the building?" I'm like, "Okay, that sounds pretty interesting." So I walk in and I walk up these stairs that you can see in this, in this picture here. And I walk in, and the receptionist, I meet the receptionist for the first time after speaking to her for 7 years, and she has me sit in the conference room, which is sort of to the right. And she said the guys will be right in. So anyway, so a couple minutes later, these 2 guys come in, and this was a very like wealthy family that goes back into the 1800s. They're a real estate family. They still own the land under a couple of the big buildings in Manhattan. At one time, they owned all the land from, like 38th Street up to 59th Street along Park Avenue. They owned all that land at one point, going back in the 1800s. And so this was their family office. So anyways, when these 2 guys walked in, they walked in, they had a stack of all the newsletters that I ever sent them for 7 years. And they sat down and they said, "Listen, we've been getting we know you've been calling. We've been getting your mailers every single month. We know that you're the expert in this territory. Come back to us in a couple days. Tell us what you think the building's worth and what we should ask for it. And we're going to just get going. We're not interviewing any other brokers." And that was really amazing. At the time, I had moved over to Sotheby's. Sotheby's had a big presence in the city, for prime property on the Upper East Side. So I was working at Sotheby's at the time. And they hired me to sell the building. We sold the building. And then they came back to me and they said, "We have one of the family members who died has an estate up on the water in Greenwich. And they had another big estate up in Bedford, New York. And we want you to go and interview the top 3 brokers in each of those markets. Choose who you think is the best broker, and we'll hire that person. And then you can just oversee the sale of the property." What it was that was a form of retargeting. Retargeting is staying in front of the same people over and over and over until they buy. And the issue with retargeting is that as soon as you start to deviate, like if I deviated from this plan, if I wanted to switch my territory and I went to work at some other territory, I would never have gotten that phone call. So that's how retargeting works. And it's not just the retargeting, but it's staying in front of the same people over and over. Now, this and the tools that I'm going to show you, the kind of marketing that's available to local business owners, whether you're a dentist, a real estate owner, an insurance agency, a roofer, a lawyer, it doesn't really matter what it is. The strategy is the same. You target the market and you just stay in front of it over and over, because as soon as you stop, they're going to forget about you in 5 seconds, maybe quicker. So anyway, here's a sample of an ad that showed up on the New York Post. This is a company that I work with in New York City. It's called Cogent Realty Advisors. They represent tenants. They're looking for tenants. They represent tenants who are looking for space to lease in more prime buildings in the city. And this is going back about 3 years or so. This particular ad, this is from the New York Post, and here's a sample of the ad. And this ad just kept showing up over and over and over. And we created a series of ads because there's what's called ad blindness. And if you run the same ad over and over and over, after a while, even if they might be interested, it's just they're not going to see it. It's just like subliminally, they don't even see the ad. They just sort of block it out and they don't see it. So one of the reasons why, Tim introduced me in the beginning that I created this site called 10xdisplayads.com. And that's a campaign where you're creating 10 different ad sets and you're running one particular ad set on an automated marketing basis, and they rotate like every 10 days. And then after 90 days, they renew. So that avoids the ad blindness, and I'll show you more in a minute. Okay, here's another example of an ad that showed up on the Weather Channel. Now, I would like to say, let me just go back and just say that this particular ad, this is a retargeted ad. So the people that are seeing this on the New York Post are only the people that have landed on his website and triggered the pixel. So this isn't being seen by everybody. It's only being seen by the people who landed on his website. And that's the thing that's so interesting about these ads today, is that there's two types of ads. There's what's called cold traffic ads, which are ads like this that are put in front of people who have never seen your site. They don't know who you are. They've never been to your business. And then there's the retargeting ads, where the ones that are being shown over and over to the people who have been on your website. So in this one, this is a new campaign that we launched, and this was recently, this campaign was started about 3 or 4 weeks ago, and this was for they're representing a law firm who has 17,000 square feet of space they want to sublease over by City Hall. And so we're actually doing a combination of cold traffic, trying to find new prospects, and also running the retargeting ads. But because it's a very specific market that we're trying to reach, this is really ideal for lawyers that are near City Hall. And so what we're doing is we're able to set up these ads and target the law firms. We're really targeting City Hall because we want to just get in front of the lawyers that are at City Hall. So that's where the cold traffic is going. Here's where, you can see on a retargeting basis, here's where it's following the consumer, and this one is on like AMNY. So these ads, the way it works is that these retargeting ads can end up on thousands of different sites. They can end up on major news sites, weather sites, sports sites, and apps. Here's another one. This is a client that we work with called Enforce Coverage Group. They specialize in workers' compensation insurance, and this is a retargeting ad that showed up on the New York Post. This is a new campaign that we're running recently. Um, Incidentally, let me just go back one sec. I just need to I want to mention something here. This ad right here, we're the cost. Let me see how to phrase this. The cost per click for somebody that sees this ad and clicks over to the website is about $3 a click. Now, if you were running Google AdWords, which are the paid Google ads, the cost per click would be $25 to $75 per click. We're getting clicks for $3 with these ads. So it shows you the affordability of these particular ads for local businesses. Now, so far this campaign, we've had 30,000 people who have seen this ad, and that's called an impression. And so far we've gotten about 100 and some odd clicks, which would have cost him anywhere from 100 clicks would have cost him anywhere from, if you were using Google AdWords, it would have cost anywhere from $25 or $2,500 to $7,500, and he's paying a fraction of that. Anyway, same thing here. This is you can see how these ads work. Here's how this ad, because this one's following me because I've been retargeted, and here's the ad. Here you can see it was on the New York Post. Here's another variation of the ad it showed on the Stamford Advocate. So when we create the ads, the ads are in different sizes. So like if you look here, like you can see, here's a vertical ad. This one here is a like more of a square. But when like sites like Stamford Advocate, you can see right on the very top, like if you look at, there's that ad up on the top there, it's like behind the scenes. That's a horizontal ad in a specific size. So these ads will show up on these different sites based on, I guess you would call it the availability of that particular size at that particular time. So the ads will show up in different places on different websites, and that's called real-time bidding. But I don't want to get into that now. It's a sort of a complex topic. But you can see what we do is we create these ads in all these different sizes, and when we submit the ads to these media networks, the ads are just pushed out to all these thousands of websites, and they can show on any particular size, depending on the time. Again, here's a sample of Smile Sensations. Now, this is a dental practice down in Stamford, and the ads are just we're only targeting the people really in Stamford. I mean, we spill over into Darien and Greenwich a little bit, but we really want these ads to just stay in front of a target market, and we can target the audience by interest. So if for example, let's say you want to go after a high-end market, people that are looking that this data on these media networks knows that people are looking at sites like, let's say it's a BMW, or it's a golf site, or maybe it's a Ferrari site, or yachting sites or whatever. So unfortunately, it's true, but this data, these big companies, they know everything about us. They know what our interests are based on what we're saying, where we're trafficking. And then these ads, when we set up these ads, we can say, okay, we want it, let's say our market could be male, could be female, could be age, could be income, could be interest. And so you can start to drill it down so that when you're putting your what are called the cold traffic ads, the ads that have never been introduced to your business, you can get these ads specifically in front of that consumer in that particular area. Now, you can even get deeper with this. You can, like, let's say, let's say, for example, we wanted to target just the people that are going to Home Depot. So if you're a contractor, for example, we can set up the ads and just target the people that are going into Home Depot, and then our ads are going to stay in front of those people that have been on their phone in Home Depot. Now, we haven't. I don't have this yet. I'm going to have this capability very soon, but I'm just going to tell you the capability that is available is there's what's called everybody's got like what's called a mobile phone ID, and the technology for marketing today is available so that you could target the people that have been in the Home Depot. If they've got their mobile phone turned on, the the targeting will enable us to go back in time 12 months. So anybody that's been at that Home Depot for the last 12 months, we can put these ads in front of. It's pretty crazy, but it's available. And the thing about it is that it's it's affordable for just about any business. I mean, you can spend $600-700 a month. You could spend 20,000 a month. But most businesses are not going to spend anywhere that towards the 20,000. Anyway, again, sample sizes. You can see all the different sizes here. It's all based on pixel sizes. And, here's a couple different types of ads that work well. These are really like branding ads, but the one over on the left is more like a reputation ad. And this particular dental practice down in Stamford, they have a 5-star review. So we're really pushing out the 5-star. That gives huge credibility. People recognize the 5-star because of all the Google reviews. And we're really not offering anything here. We're just putting the name out there. Now, one of the things that's really, really amazing about this is that one of the things that we are seeing, and we've been seeing this for a long time, is that these ads start to get in front of your existing patients. So a lot of times people who are patients they'll do a search for smile sensations. They're using Google as their Rolodex. They don't have his phone number handy. They know they can go online, do a search. They can go on his website, get his phone number, get hours of operation, and now they've been retargeted. So now these ads are staying in front of that patient over and over and over as long as these campaigns are continuing to run. And what that does is that, usually most people are only thinking of their dentist, let's say once a year, if not less. Now you're part of their life. All of a sudden you're in front of them over and over. So now what happens is the patients are actually coming back and they're booking appointments more frequently because now they're center of mind all the time. And what you can do is like this one here on the left, it's smile makeover specialist. This one here is cosmetic dentistry. So it's, we're just sort of putting out, these different niches in a very, subtle way. Now, this one in part of this campaign, these are what are called offer ads. And we're running all these ads. This is part of the 10X campaign that we're running for Smile Sensations. And this is what's called an offer ad. This is dental implants from 1995. Here's Invisalign braces for $2,995. And we're also using the stars. We're using the logo. Now, his logo is not as sharp as I like it, but it doesn't really matter. I mean, yes, it would be better if it was sharper, but it's the visibility that matters. If you go back to my story, where I was sending my newsletter out, constantly, that newsletter that I sent out, it was nothing great. It was not very professional. And it wasn't, I'm not going to say it wasn't professional, but it had good information, but the quality wasn't like super awesome. It wasn't like some nice glossy thing. It was the consistency of the message that is in front of the target market over and over. And this is what works for building a business. This is not a quick fix. If you're in a bind and you say, okay, I'm going to run an ad, I'm going to run one of these ads today and I need a client tomorrow. It's not going to work that way. This is really just, this is a strategy of building your business and staying in front of your audience over and over and over. And I mentioned how the ads are in front of patients who come back and book more frequently, but because the patients are seeing these ads over and over, they become a really valuable referral source, especially in local markets, because now you're seeing these ads, you're out socializing, let's say pre-COVID, post-COVID, hopefully. You're seeing these ads over and over. So now, like, Smile Sensations is really part of your life, and all these things about Smile Sensations that you would never think about. Invisalign, implants, cosmetic dentistry, smile makeovers, because these ads are just being presented in front of you over and over. Okay, again, here on the left, here's another one in this campaign. So you can see that this is how we're avoiding the ad blindness. Okay, we're avoiding the ad blindness. And this is the one on the left. This is really a branding and reputation ad. We're just saying Smile Sensations of Stamford, Dr. Stephen Walpo, and it's got his phone number. You can actually call right off the ad, or you can click the Learn More button to go over to, the website. And then here we're using the stars. The stars work. End of story, they work. People recognize them because of the Google star system. Now, the one over on the right is, again, it's an offer ad. Like the previous ads I showed you, you had the $29.95 for Invisalign, you had the $19.95 for implants. This one is a 40% off. We're looking to see how this one converts compared to the others. If any of these ads are not producing, because we can measure every single ad, we can look at what time of day the ads are showing. Like if we what we do a lot, depending on the niche, a lot of these ads will start the ads every day. We'll set them up so that the ads start running at, let's say 10 o'clock in the morning or 11 o'clock, and maybe they'll run to 9 or 10 at night. Depends on the niche. But what I see a lot of times is that advertisers really don't know how the programs work, and they're just running ads. And what they do is they run their ads starting in the morning, and by 10, 11, 12 o'clock, they've burned through their budget for the day, and now they disappear. And that happens a lot. So we see that the best, the less expensive placements start in the afternoon, because you've eliminated the competition, because most people running these kind of ads are not really skilled in the right strategies, and they burn through their budget very, very early. So we're always looking at that, and that's what you should be looking at if you're going to use a platform like this. So as I mentioned, how to use retargeting ads. You can target by town, you can target by neighborhood, specific building. Like, for example, if you were, if you wanted to, if you're, let's say you're a sneaker store, and you wanted to, you can target specific locations that people would traffic. Could be, like down in Stamford, there's that, I don't know what it's called. It's that sports facility. Like, you could just target that particular audience, and get a whole in front of parents and the kids, and you can put your ads in front of that audience. One of the things I don't have a chart of it. I have it here somewhere, but display ads and retargeting have really replaced retail signs, billboards, magazine ads, and direct mail. Their display ads are becoming, I think there's more money spent on display ads than even on TV today. But what everybody's doing is everybody's on their mobile phone. They're looking at all kinds of websites. And so your mobile phone is like the new storefront. And let's see, as I mentioned what it's actually called, what's called Geo Fencing. So let's say, for example, you want to put your ads just in front of people in the Stamford Hospital or the Home Depot. You can do that. Really pretty amazing. Okay, so I just want to see. Let me look at my notes real quick and see if there's anything that I missed here. Um, oh, here's something else you can do with these ads with um, with these display ads with these pixels. There are certain email programs where if you have an email list, you can send out an email like a newsletter, and you can embed the pixel, the retargeting pixel, in your email so that when somebody opens up your email on your list, they're now retargeted. So your email can trigger the retargeting, and now instead of constantly trying to win your clients over from your email list, you can use a combination of your email list and the retargeting, and so you're going to get in front of your client a couple different ways. Let's see. All right. So there's one thing. Okay. So I'm going to go over and I want to show you something that I think is really, really interesting. There's a really awesome book that I'm reading right now, and it's called Advertising Breakthrough by Gene Schwartz. And it's really the book that all advertising really is based on. It's Gene Schwartz was originally a direct mail marketer, and the book is very, very hard to read. I actually have a Facebook group. It's called Local Marketing Strategies. It's a free group if anybody wants to join it. And what I do is I'm going through Advertising Breakthrough on a daily basis, and I'm reading through this book, and I'm taking notes, and I'm trying to figure out the formulas that the best marketers on the planet are using, and then how to apply that, to local businesses. And one of the things that that's really key is that these retargeting ads are awesome. Yes, for all the reasons I stated. There's also traffic that you can drive. You can drive traffic from YouTube videos, Facebook ads, Instagram, um, search engine optimization. I mean, there's so many ways to drive traffic, but you've got to send your traffic to a page that's going to convert. If we go back 3 years, 5 years, or even 10 years ago or more, you could create a page on a website. You could get ranked on Google very easily. People would do a search, they would land on the page, and the conversion, you would get phone calls, you would make sales. Today, it's not, it's become so much more competitive. Like if you do a search for a dentist in, Norwalk, for example, you're going to see pretty much every single website the same. I'm a dentist. I make I clean your teeth. I fix cavities. I do implants, whatever it is. It's always saying, I am this. I'm a dentist. I do this. And the one thing that I've learned in this book, Advertising Breakthrough, is that Gene Schwartz is always talking about the fact that the consumer doesn't care about your product. They care about what it does for you. And so I think this is I wanted to share this because this is a really, really key part of this whole strategy. It's one thing to drive the traffic, but it's got to convert. If you don't have a way to convert that, you just can't send them to the same page that everybody else is, because then you're really competing just, on the apples to apples. You're really becoming a commodity, and you really can't different. You might be more visible than the next person, or the next dentist or the next roofer or lawyer, but it's not really telling what you do that benefits the consumer. And this is something I study a lot, and I think this is really, really interesting for increasing the conversion. And this is something I think anybody on this call should can definitely think about for their existing websites, whether you're an e-commerce site. Anyway, this one here, this was created by Lori Greiner from the Shark Tank. And hang on one second. Excuse me, I'm talking too much. Anyway, This one here, excuse me 1 second.
Elliot, or I mean, not Elliot, Ed, we did have someone who would like you to type the author and the book's title in the chat window if you get a minute to do that later
Yeah,
on.
I will
And
do that.
I loved your non-digital example you gave of your retargeting in the real estate market there. That was, you're targeting the area and you're staying in front of those people. That's what retargeting is all about. It's the simplest explanation that I've
It
ever
really
heard
is.
yet. It was very good. Thank you very much.
Yeah. So anyway, going back to this site, uh, this one, I saw this. Excuse me for a second. I'm sorry. Anyway, this one here, what's really interesting about this is that she's really, the strategy here is like, if you look at this site, it's only a one-page website, but I guarantee she put a lot of money and a lot of time into this. And what it's doing is it's focusing on the benefits to the client before it's even introducing the product. And I think you're going to start to see this in local markets, for roofers and all the local businesses out there. This is what's going to convert. This is what's going to increase that conversion of a visitor on your page. And what you can see that she's not introducing the product at the upper part of the website. She's just talking about what it does for you. And then as you go down the page, she really has, I mean, she's sort of showing the picture of what the product is, but you really can't tell. She's still talking about what the product does for the consumer. And it isn't until you get halfway down the page before you actually see what the product is. And then actually, if we were scrolling down, halfway down the page, she finally says introducing. So you can see that what she's doing is she's talking about what the benefit is of the consumer to the consumer before she even introduces the product. And then as you get down to the lower part of the site, this is where it becomes a little bit more interesting, is that now what they're doing is they're bundling their offers. And this here, like if you look at the features and benefits over here on the lower right, this is really key. I'm sure everybody on this call can talk about many things that they provide when they are providing services or products to a client, and they assume that the consumer knows this stuff, but it really increases your conversion if you start looking at really high traffic quality sites where people are selling things. You're going to start to see how they're using, this is like an offer stack, they call it. You can see here they're offering, and they're offering a single product, and then they're bundling their products. And I think if you think about how she's using this, she's using her credibility. She's, even if you scroll down, if you go to mytouchscreenpurse.com, she uses little badges and things like that. And the badges don't really say anything, but it just gives you more credibility. I wanted to point this out because I think this is really a key part of, anybody on the call. If you want to increase your sales, look at your website, look at everything that you do, and look at it from the perspective of, what do I do that is going to benefit the client? Because they really don't care about you. They really don't care about your product. They care about what it does for you. And I think that's a really, really key thing, because the retargeting is amazing. You target a local market, you stay in front of your local market, and you can, back in the day when the story that I had was I was using, cold calls, and I was using, direct mail. Today, you've got websites, you've got display ads, you've got all these tools that will help you enhance your business. But, there's a lot of competition out there. So I think this is This is something to really think about, because driving the traffic is one part of it. You want to find every edge that you can to increase your sales. And this particular site is a perfect example. As I mentioned, I have this group called Local Marketing Strategies. It's a private Facebook group. It's a free group if anybody wants to join. But I talk about this every day. I'm talking about retargeting, all the different strategies, and I'm talking about how you can use your sites. And we look at other websites to figure out, what are they doing? Why is their site converting? And different ways that you can convert and increase and grow your business using these strategies. And it can be in a local market. I mean, a lot of times, a lot of us, a lot of people, a lot of companies that I work with, they want to go after like this big geographic area, sometimes nationwide. And the reality is there's so much business in these small local markets. It's just targeting that market and staying in front of them over and over. And these are the tools that you can use. So anyway, that's pretty much it. Retargeting ads. I mentioned that you can put the pixel on your website, where the ads. I showed you where the ads appear. And some of you you've probably experienced. You've probably been retargeted. You land on a website like Amazon, and then you see these ads following you over and over. Let's see what else. This is mainly it. I mean, one of the things that's really amazing about these displays and retargeting is they really level the playing field. For a local business, you are armed with the tools and resources to compete with big brands. And you can, if you implement a strategy like this using these tools, you can dominate your market and stay in front of thousands of prospects right in your backyard, rather than running all over the place trying to find clients. And just to wrap up, the simple formula to grow your business: target your local market, stay in front of them over and over, show value by demonstrating what your product does for your customer, and then use bundles to bundle products that you might offer, and then create those offer stacks. Think about, all those points, put them on your website. And that is, as I mentioned, the free Facebook group, the local marketing strategies, and that's it. That sort of wraps it up. If
Thanks,
anybody has
Ed.
any,
Yeah, we'll now use our remaining time for questions and answer. We'll take as many as we can up to 1 o'clock. So please submit them via the chat feature in the lower portion of your screen. And so the first question I'd like to hit you with is, can you use an example of how to implement that pixel?
how to implement it? Well, I use a program. I subscribe to a program. It's a company called Strategic Marketer, and they have a full suite of all these different softwares, and which is really, I mean, these guys have put together an amazing platform where they've got templates for making ads. They've got the software for being able to take the ads and launch them onto the internet, onto all these different sites. So I use what's called Strategic Marketer. There are other ways to go about it. There's you can use the Google Display Network, and you can use sites like there's AdRoll. There's many that are out there, and there's all kinds of display ad making tools that are available out there. You can do searches online and find a lot of them. But I think that the key, however you do it, whatever, you can search online for any of this, and you're going to find a lot of it. You're going to find a lot of resources. But I think the key is really, it's really the strategy. What we do with the 10x display ads is we're using, like reputation ads, promoting the reputation, the star ratings. We're doing branding, and then we're doing offer ads. We're doing 3 different kinds of ads. And what they do is they rotate every couple weeks. So you're just casually staying in front of that consumer. You can
Right.
increase your budget if you want them to be featured more frequently.
Yeah, so Richard, I think you just hit this actually. Richard's just asking, do we set these retargeting ads up through Google? And I guess you just said that, right?
Yeah, you can set them up through the Google Display Network. Absolutely.
Right. Browser DuckDuckGo says you won't be followed if you use their browser. Is privacy going to hurt targeting, I guess, is the question.
Yeah, that's a good question. There are ways that people can use like ad blockers to block ads that are retargeting ads. Um, that can be done, but I think what's happening with this kind of marketing is that it's becoming more so sophisticated that eventually retargeting may not be necessary because you can put your ads in front of the exact consumer over and over with what's called cold traffic ads. So you can stay in front of your target audience. So eventually retargeting may go away, but it's basically going to be replaced with more precise targeting that's going to
Right.
enable you to stay in front of the same people.
Got it. Stacy's asking, what is the URL for strategic marketer?
Gosh, I don't know what it is offhand. I would say just do a search, do a Google search. If you can't find it, just reach out to me.
Right.
You can find me on my, go onto Facebook if it's just do a search for Edward Winslow, and you can find me on Facebook, and send me a direct message. I think I have my phone number there as well.
Right. Glenn is asking, can you suggest resources to get this retargeting up and running?
Yeah, well, you can, as I said, you can use the strategic marketer platform, or uh, you can use, do a search for Google Display Network. There's another company called AdRoll, and you can do a search for AdRoll. AdRoll is sort of like it's another platform, sort of like Strategic Marketer has, where they have access to all these different media platforms where you can push your ads out.
Got it. And Matthew's asking, can we talk to you about getting some advice on our own website and possibly hire your company to work with us, educate us on a consultancy basis?
Yeah, the answer is yes. I don't. Did I include my phone number here? Whoops. I'm sorry here. I don't have my phone number here, but I can give it to you right now. It's my direct line is 203-762-1366. And you can, if you go over to 10xdisplayads.com, I think you'll find my phone number there as well.
Yeah.
Be happy to talk to you. And the other thing if you go over to my Facebook group, local marketing strategies, I talk about this stuff every single day. And I'm talking about strategies, and I'm talking about, showing examples that you can utilize.
Right. All right, says, how do you target people who are privacy minded and block?
Um, well, if people have ad blockers on, you may be restricted from getting your ads in front of them. But you can get in front of them with cold traffic ads in these, with all these different sites. So that's one way you can get around it. But I will tell you that not that many people are blocking things today. I mean, they'd have to know exactly what they're doing, and they may not be the right people to get in front of.
Right, right. Also, how do you get into someone's mobile if they're not connected to that store's Wi-Fi?
How do you get if they're not? Well, you're not going to be
Like,
able to get it.
how do you know they're in the Home Depot, I guess is the question.
Well, you don't. You can see with what's called the geo fencing. you can, when you set up these campaigns, you can just target that particular building, and the accuracy is like within 10 feet. It's pretty amazing. And you can do this with numerous locations. Like if like you could, like, let's say you're in New York City and you want you're selling something, let's say you're a restaurant delivery or something like that, and you want to get in front of, every specific buildings. Like, let's say you just want to get in front of the people at the Empire State Building. You can definitely do that.
Hmm.
So you can, it becomes very, very hyper local. And you can, I think you can even target up to, like, you can upload up to, I think, 10,000 locations into these ad campaigns. So you can
Right.
get, there's so many different ways to get very, very specific. There's a lot of things that I know. There are many things that I don't even know that you can do yet. There's some pretty sophisticated things out there.
Got it. And how can we determine the star value for our own business, especially when we're just starting out?
Well, that's a really important thing, is that, you know, you need to have a Google My Business account. With your Google My Business account, that's going to be where people submit reviews. Now, there are different review systems that you can subscribe to, but if you can get people directly to leave a review on your Google My Business, that's where the star ratings are going to appear. And a Google My Business is a really important local advertising. It's a free site, and you can set up your YouTube channel. Once you have you need a Gmail account, Google Gmail account first. And then once you have that, you can set up your Google My Business account. You can set up a YouTube channel. I think there's even a free website builder right within that. So if you want to build your own website right within Google My Business, you can.
And Kathleen is asking, how do you submit ads to media networks? How much does it cost?
Well, as I was saying, you do it through like these platforms like Strategic Marketer, like AdRoll, or you can go directly to the Google Display Network. So you create your ads and then you upload your ads. It's usually like a drag and drop system. So once you create your ads in all the different sizes, you can then drag and drop them into the management system, whatever platform you want to use. Um, there was another part of that question. Did I miss that?
No, I think you got it.
I think, okay. Oh, how much does it cost? How much does it
Yeah,
cost?
yeah, how much cost?
Yeah, the cost, yes. These ad platforms, they really don't cost anything to unless unless you're running ads. You're paying for the impressions, and you're paying for the clicks. The impressions really don't add up to much. Um, how much does it cost per click? Um, like I was saying with the real estate client that I'm working with, his cost per click is in the $3 per click range. And if you compare that to Google AdWords, those are the ads on the top of a search, 25 to $75 per click. So, $3, let's say on an average it's $50. You're paying $3 a click versus 50. I mean, if you have 100 clicks and you're paying $50, that's $5,000. If your cost per click is $3 and you get 100, it's $300. So it's the difference between $300 and $5,000 a month.
Awesome. Yeah, Justina just wanted to verify the Facebook group you're referring to, is that called Local Marketing Strategies for Entrepreneurs and
Yes.
Small Business Owners?
Yep, that's it.
Got it.
That's it.
Okay, that's about all the time for questions we have. As a
There.
reminder, a recording of this webinar is available within a couple of days on the fairfieldcounty.score.org website. Please check our website for information on upcoming webinars. Again, SCORE offers free individual counseling, so please use the link on the screen, which is the next slide, I guess. to sign up for mentoring. Hit the request a mentor button and you're on your way. We are available for sessions via phone, email, or video conference using Zoom. Also, please fill out your evaluations that have been sent at the end of the webinar. On behalf of SCORE, I'd like to thank you all for attending today's SCORE live webinar. In closing, today, a big thank you to Ed Winslow. Thanks, Ed. That was great.
Thanks. Sorry about the coughing. I don't usually talk for 45 minutes. So
It was fine.
I hope this was helpful to everybody.
It was great. Thanks.